Welcome back to the NOLARUG Navisworks 101 video. This is part 3. We're going to actually run clash detection now and do a couple of little tidbits to see how Navisworks actually works. Now when it loads the files in here, you can see lots of stuff going on. And if I scroll up here, you'll notice how we actually have the different models. Now depending on where it came from, you actually have the ability to turn on and off different pieces or look at different components. You'll notice as I hit them, they highlight. So let me go ahead and hit the structural. See that structural it turned green. Now if I can come down and hit default, notice it's only picking up like the framing. If I hit the level, it's picking up the different things. So depending on how the model is built, you can highlight different elements. Now at this point, where there's no real defining factor what these elements are, so what I may do is color code them to fit my needs. Now I'm going to use different colors than I did in the previous presentation because the other colors I picked kind of sucked. So I'm going to try a few different ones this time. So let's go ahead and we'll take the electrical. Now I'll highlight the electrical. You notice you can see it all in light green right now. I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to go to override items. Now I'm going to hit override color. I'm going to say all the conduit stuff, I want it to be bright yellow. I'll hit OK on that. So now all of our electrical is now highlighted in bright yellow. Now I may want the mechanical. I'll grab that, right click, and I'll go down here, override items, and I'll say about color, and let's make them all some type of blue. That's kind of close to the other blue. I'll pick maybe a darker blue. Now we'll do purple. Yeah, purple. Hit OK on that. I click off of it and you'll see how it's purple. So we can visually tell the differences between the two. And my picking color kind of sucks. Maybe we'll do mechanical, do it orange. Right click on that, override item, color, and I'll set it to orange. Hit OK on that. See how that looks. Yeah, that works for us. So what we have is we have the structure, which is that kind of steel blue. We have the orange and we have the yellow. Again, it's up to you on what colors you want, but what it does, it gives me a quick visual understanding of who's who. Now, a question came up during the training of what if I just want to highlight one element. Now, you could hover over an element like so. I'm going to make sure I'm in the select tab, and I pick on an element. Now you'll notice it picks a piece of that element. If I want to pick more, I could right click. Let's say I click on this element and right click. You can see it says to geometry, to last object, to first object, to layer. You can actually pull all the way up to file. Now when I click on it, it's only going to pick files so it's picking files. It's not actually picking individual elements. So depending on how you have that set, just right click on the object and I'll set geometry. Now I could take this object, notice I highlighted it. I could say I want you to be something different. Now if I hold the control key down, I can pick other elements just like in other applications. I'll say all of you guys. Notice they're highlighted down here. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say overwrite the items and I'll say color. So I'll say take them, I'll say make those all purple, and we hit OK on that, and at this point you'll see they're all purple. So we can color code them individually, but the main objective here was to color code them so we can tell who's who. Now moving forward with this, we now need to get into some clash detection. So that was color coding, and also I guess I should mention turning things on and off. If I go up top here, you'll notice that I've got the mechanical. Let's say I don't want to see the mechanical. I could right click on here and you'll see it says hide. Instantly it's all hidden. So now all I have is steel and electrical. So it gives me the easy way to look at all these things together. I could zoom in, I can spin around, I can walk around just like we talked about earlier, going down the corridors, check things out. It's a beautiful thing. Now time to run clash detection. We go up top to the home tab and you'll see if I go about 3/4 of the way over, you see clash detective. When I fire this up, so now let's go ahead and run a test. We're going to drop this down. You'll see there are no tests running. So I'm going to run clash detective, and I'm going to add a test. Now, adding a test, we actually give it a name. You can hit F2 and rename it, and I'm going to call it something that I understand. So I'm going to say this is going to be electrical versus steel. That's easy for me to understand what's going on. So I'm going to run the whole electrical model against the whole steel model with some variations so I don't get myself in trouble. So I've created that test. Now, once you have the test set up, we can go into some basic rules. For instance, don't pick up pipe and floor. So if a pipe goes through a floor, don't pick it up. Or a pipe goes through a beam, well, we maybe want that pipe and roof. Well, we're okay with that. So you can actually tell Revit what to do and not do by these settings. Now, if I come over here and hit select, now this is where we really get down to the meat and potatoes. I'm going to say I want to say the structural. I drop this down. I want the columns, all the columns. We can actually minimize that. We can get the minimize button. Hold the control key down, generic models and structural framing of that model plus the default, which this is structural framing. I want all of the structural to run against my electrical. Now sometimes in a model you may have some things that aren't really needed, like for instance I've got ceilings in here that I put in to host lights. Now I don't need to run that against that because it's going to cause problems. So I'm holding the control key down and highlighting the elements that I want. These can continually be changed. The test can be adjusted as needed. So we've got this test. We're going to run the steel against the electrical. Now we hit run test. Now before I hit the run test, let's verify the settings here. You'll notice that we have a hard clash. You can have a hard clearance. Excuse me, a hard clash. You can have a clearance, meaning if it comes within 2 feet of these objects, you know, a warn us. Okay. Or if we have duplicates, it'll tell us you have duplicates, which is a nice thing to run even on your own model to find out if you have duplicates inside of it. Now, so I'm gonna hit hard, and I'm gonna say anything that touches within a 1/4 inch. So if they're overlapping a 1/4 inch, it will pick it up for us. Now let's hit run test and see what happens. Revit comes up and says, hey, I found 3 bumps or 3 clashes. As I click on them, you'll see Revit jumps to them. Now the screen's large here, so let me drag it on over, and you'll see it's jumping to all these different bumps. So it looks like I got 2 plates hitting, and it's the same plate. A lot of times that's what happens. So I'm hitting the same plate. It's just showing me twice, and then I have this clash over here. Now if I have clashes that are causing me the same problem, let's say I get 16 of these and they're all in the same little area, I can grab these clashes, I can right click, and I can come over here and actually group them together. So I'm going to say conduit at roof. Okay, and we may want to put a number in front of it. That way we know what it is. If I'm talking to Bob out in the field, he's going to say, what about that clash? Oh, it's 001. So we can give it a name too. So once we click off of that, now we have that. So I can minimize it, and now I have what's called, a group. So there's a conduit at the roof. Now if I click on it, it'll show it to me. Now let's take it a little bit further. If I come over here and I'm going to say use status color, use item colors, you'll see how they actually have changed color a little bit, and I can see which ones from what's group. Now I'm going to come on and zoom in on that over there, and you'll see that I click, okay, then I zoom in. I can see where my problem is. So I've got this problem here I need to rectify. So we found the problem using clash detection, and what we'll do in the next video is we're going to open up Revit, fix the problem, reload the file, and see how it fixes it. So that is how we run clash detection. Now just a couple of little tidbits here. You can run lots and lots of these. Once you run them, you can also add notes. As I come down here and I open this up, let's say for instance Ryan is going to fix this. We can say who did it, who wants to work on it. If I had more screen, you can actually see here, it would actually come up and give you the ability on who's going to work on it, etc. Assign. So we can assign it to Ryan, and I hit OK on that. So Ryan's going to take care of that. I can't get to the bottom of my screen right here. Maybe I can. Yeah, there we go. And we can come on over. You see it's assigned to Ryan. It'll tell you how much it's bumped into. At any point in time you want to rerun the test, you can. It'll run through it again, tell you where the problems are. You'll notice that the clash didn't hit new anymore. Now it moved into the active range. We could also review it, approve it, and once it's resolved, it'll actually pick itself up. So we're going to now end this video, and we'll come back and fix it in Revit.